Hey everybody, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Around the World in 80 Days. Around the World in 80 Days is a game published by Yellow, well at least my version is. Designed by David Parlett, plays 2 to 6 players in about 45 minutes, and all that seems pretty accurate. And let's look at the theme. So this is based on a book, Around the World in 80 Days, I believe. I don't know a lot about books, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And what this game does is in October 2nd, 1872, Phileas Fogg is boasting about his plan to go around the world in 80 days. The gentlemen of the Reform Club have bet against him, since they don't believe this eccentric dandy could ever succeed. However, there's trouble in the air as the rash departure of Phileas Fogg, accompanied by his loyal valet, Passepartout, I don't know how to say that, coincides with the theft of £50,000 from the Bank of England. Will you successfully prove your innocence in the eyes of the world by achieving the feat of going around the world in 80 days? So, effectively what you're doing in this game is you are moving around this map. It's 80 spaces, each signifying a day in the travels, and you're trying to move based on paying money, and each amount of spaces that you want to move is going to cost a different amount of money. So you're trying to manage your money. You have to earn money because eventually you're going to run out and you still need money to move. But the rub here is you also have these 3 rumor cards, which are going to relate to the £50,000 being stolen, that you also have to get rid of before you can get to London, and you have to have less than £10 when you get back to London, so it's obvious that you didn't steal that money. Super simple game to play, but there is a lot of depth in how you're playing those money cards. So let's just go down to the table. Check it out.
Come on, play the game!
Alright, so here's a game of Around the World in 80 Days, all set up for 3 players. Setup is pretty easy. You're going to give each player a player board, 3 rumor cards, put the pawn of their color on London here, which I've done, shuffle the passport cards, and give each player £80. It says in the rulebook how to do it, but you can just give each player £80. That's fine. And then put the rest of the money, I don't know if you can see it, but it'll be off to the side on these cool little boards here. You don't need to see that, it's just a bank. And then you're ready to go. All right, so the way this game works is, on your turn, you're going to be moving your pawn. If you can pass 2, but I don't recommend that. And when you move your pawn, you're going to be paying money, you can see it on the board here, to move. So you're trying to balance moving by how much money you have, because you're going to need to collect money, to spend money, all that kind of thing. The rub here is we're trying to be the first player to get back into London, to go all the way around the board, 80 spaces, hence Around the World in 80 Days, and have all 3 of our rumors gone and have less than £10. So we're going to be earning money along the way, but we're going to have to figure out a way to get rid of that money so we can make it back to London before everyone else. All right, so let's just go ahead and go. I'm going to go this way just because it's easier for me. So let's go. So green, on their turn, they're going to be moving. Now, when I land on a space, I'll explain what they do, because that's the easiest way to do it probably. And I think green is just going to move 1, and moving 1 costs £1. So I have £1. They're going to move 1, and they landed on the passport space. What happens there is when you land on that, if you're in the lead, you take 1 of these cards and you play it immediately. If you're not in the lead, you take 2 and you pick 1. But green's in the lead, they play 1, and they have to do it. So it says, give £10 to each player behind you on the track. If you don't have enough, you can't give any money. So I have to give each other player £10. That stinks. All right. So they get 10, and they get 10. And that's my turn. All right. Then we will go to blue, and blue, they want to go a little farther, so I think they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to go 5 spaces, and 5 spaces cost 15. So they will spend their this card gets discarded, and they will spend their £15, and they will move 5 spaces. All right, so 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, a couple of rules on movement. You can't move backwards except with one exception, and we'll get to that. And you can't land where someone else is. So when you're thinking about how much you want to move, you have to take into account other people's top hats. Now, they landed on a pound space. This does nothing when you land on it, but at the beginning of your turn, you have a choice. And we'll get back to that when it's blue player's turn. Now it's purple, and I think purple, they're going to move 6. So 6 costs 21. So they will spend 21. They move their 6. And this is a betting space. What this means is when it comes back to your turn, if you are in this position, you get that many times 10 pounds. So they would get 30 pounds if they're in third place. Right? So they're trying to bet that that's what's going to happen. And that is their turn. Now back to green. Green doesn't have a lot of money. They're going to move 2. They're going to try another one of these cards. That costs 3 pounds. This time they get to draw 2 and keep 1 because they're not in first place. We have a character. It's a one-time ability that you can do on your turn. And this one. Apply the effect of the police news space if you have no more rumor cards. Okay, so they're going to use this one. So part of the way you get rid of your rumors, which is the police news cards, is by landing on these spaces. But the card that I picked is basically going to let me do this space without having to take 2 turns to do it. So I get rid of one of these cards. They're out of the game. And then the second part of the police news thing is you get money based on your position on the track. So I'm third, so I would get 3 times 10. I would get 30 pounds, which is good because I had to give away a lot of my money. All right, now back to blue. They're on the pound space. So when it's your turn and you're on the pound space, at the beginning of your turn, you can decide to not move and either take 10 pounds from the bank or give 10 pounds to the bank. And I think in this case, blue is actually going to give 10 pounds to the bank. Nah, they're just going to move regular, so they're not going to do any of it. Can they move 8? They're going to move 8. That costs 36. 35, 6. Oh, that's a 10. 36. 36 pounds. So they're moving 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, police news. This is how you get rid of these cards. First thing you do when you land there is you turn your top hat upside down. And then when we get back to their turn, we'll explain the next piece. It's basically what I did with this card, but this is actually how it works on the board space. All right, so now it's back to purple, or purple. And purple is not in third place because green didn't move that far, so they do not get their bid, so they just take their turn like normal. And I think they're going to move 4. And 4 costs 10. 10 pounds. So they'll spend their 10 and they will move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not in first place, so they get 2 cards and keep 1. They're going to keep this one. So they will keep this character. If a player takes pounds while on a betting space, you get it instead. So when someone takes money from a bet, that player will get it instead. All right, now back to green. Green needs to get moving. I'm actually going to move 3. 3 costs 6. So I'm going to move 3. There's my 6. 5, 6. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to bet that I'm in third, which is probably a good bet because no one can get back there. Then we go to blue. Now, for blue's second turn, when they're on police news, they flip their hat. They get rid of one of these police news cards. And they get pounds times the position they are on the track. So they get 10 times 1, they get 10 pounds. And that's their second turn. They don't get to move. They're just going there, collecting money, and getting rid of a card. Now it's purple's turn, and purple wants to... They're going to move 6. I think they can move 6. 6 costs 21. Yes, so there's 21. So they're going to move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Back to green. So green is in third place. So before they move, they're going to get 30 pounds from the bank because their position on the track times 10 pounds. And now they're going to be moving. All right. So let's go Let's move 5. And 5 costs 15. There's my 15. Now I'll move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now back to blue. Blue is going to move. And they want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're going to move 5. Which costs 15. 15. Blue's moving 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they get to draw 1 card because they're in the lead and play it. Dear Mr. Fogg, lose half of your money rounded up. That's terrible. All right. So I have 34. So I would lose 17. So there's 20. I'm going to get back 3. That stinks. All right. Now back to purple. Now this is the last space on the board, so I'm going to kind of end it after this, but I wanted to show you this space. They're going to move back to the red. Now red you can only get to, this is called a layover spot. You can only get to these by moving backwards. So on their turn, instead of moving forward, they're not going to spend anything, they're going to move backwards. They're going to move 1, 2. For every space you move backwards to get under the red, you get 10 pounds. So they will get 20 pounds. And that's their turn. You can never directly land on red by moving forward. You have to move backwards onto a red. All right. And that's how the game's going to keep playing until someone has run out of rumor cards, has less than 10 pounds, and makes it back into London. You're going to keep doing that around and around and around until the game ends. That's how you play Around the World in 80 Days. Let's go up the top, see what we think about it.
What do you think, son? What do you think?
All right, well, that was Around the World in 80 Days. So I believe this game is a re-implementation of Tortoise and the Hare, which is from Purple Brain Games, I think. And I've played that game once. I played the yellow version of it, but either way, I played the game one time. And I don't really remember it other than the fact that you're spending these cards to move your characters and you're trying to just be the first player to cross the finish line in the race. This one, I really like the way this works. So again, I can't remember the last one, but I love the way that you're using your money, you're earning money, you're spending money to move around this map. Sometimes you need to not move because you got to earn money. Sometimes you're going to move backwards to a layover because you need to get money. You also need to go visit the police station, basically, which is where the space are, so you can get rid of your rumor cards, so you can make it back to London without having all those that police chatter on you. Those cost 2 turns to do all that. It's tons of stuff going on in this game. It's really simple to play, but it provides a ton of depth, hand management, thinky decisions on what you're doing in such a simple game. And I love this game. It's so good. I found it at Half Price Books, I think like $5 or $6. Couldn't pass it up at that price, and I'm glad that I didn't. So this is going to get a BGM Accepted seal from me. This is going to get an 8 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 4 out of 5 wrenches on an arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing, but we like to give it the games that we enjoy, and that's what I am going to do. So that is Around the World in 80 Days from Yellow. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.